I'm talking about your first song. So, what is it about writing your first song, finishing your first song, and releasing your first song that seems to trip people up? That seems so challenging. Well, here's my experience, and here's what I've got to offer on this. Your first song is always going to be the hardest thing you do. Getting off zero. I often say everyone starts at zero. That's kind of my mantra. It's to say that if you've done nothing, don't worry. A lot of other people have done nothing, and by doing something, by having one on the board, one song out there, one run on the scoreboard, then you're better than zero. So you have to get over that. And you've probably heard my mantra here on the channel is create, record, release. And you could call the release share. So create, record, share. I just say release because I honestly think releasing your music has so many benefits. So releasing it using a distributor, releasing it to YouTube or SoundCloud, doesn't really matter how you release it, but getting it out there into public. And I know it sounds daunting. A lot of people don't want to do it because we have fear. And we have legitimate fear. And I talked on last week's show about the lizard brain and the resistance and my love of Seth Godin and all things that he talks about with the motivational side. And I'll touch on it quickly here. And that is that we were programmed from very early on to like avoid dangerous situations like being eaten by lions. There aren't too many lions eating us these days. But what we now have fear of is public speaking, of public judgment, of some stranger on social media calling us an idiot for doing something wrong. Now, that is hard to get over, but we need to actually work to do that. The reason that I have the community here on Studio Live today, I have my Create, Record, Release over on Facebook, and I'm part of so many of these community groups, is that every day I'm out there encouraging people to release their first song. But it's not easy. And here's some of the things that you need to keep in mind. If you are working on that first song, or even your third or 10th or 100th song, the same things are going to apply here pretty much, but especially your first. Number one, it will not be perfect for two reasons. Perfection is subjective and perfection is almost impossible to achieve. So because it's subjective, what you consider perfect may not even be perfect to someone else. And you may put something out there that you think has so many faults and flaws, and someone will listen to it and say, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard. That connected to me in a way that no one's ever been able to connect with me before. Number two, it won't be your best song. Your first song is not going to be necessarily your best song. You will write better songs in the future. But here's the thing. You need to get it out there. You need to get it out of your system, because by getting feedback on it, by learning what worked and what didn't work, your next song is probably going to be better, or at least be able to incorporate some different elements that are going to help you improve. Number three, it will have things in it that you don't like. You will cringe when you go back and listen to some of your earlier songs. I do it. Everyone does it. I'm sure like Elton John and Billy Joel and I don't know, name other, Justin Bieber, maybe. I'm sure these people go back to their early songs and go, wow, what was I thinking? I can't believe I wrote songs in such a way. That's the thing. It becomes your body of work though. And that's actually a really cool thing to be able to look back. If I didn't have my early releases, if I didn't start saying, hey, I'm just going to start releasing my music, I'd probably still be working and tweaking and be 98% there and not have actually grown or developed. Whereas the songs I'm writing now, I believe, are probably 3 times better than the songs I was writing 5 years ago. And I'm hoping that if I keep writing, recording, releasing music in 5 years' time, those songs will have learnt from the last 5 years. And I can look back on that back catalogue and go, cool, look at all these achievements. That's sort of on the negative side. What about the positive side? What are you going to get out of releasing your first song? Number one, you're going to get a great sense of satisfaction when you finish. It actually feels really good to be done. Why do you think we have checklists? Have you ever done this? Have you ever had a to-do list and then you forgot to add something to your to-do list, but you do it? But you don't just like go, oh, I've done that now. You write it on the to-do list and then you put a big line through it because it feels good to finish things. It feels good to achieve and be done with things. So that's the same with your music. And it will help you improve and create that second song. Once you got the first one out there, the second one is so much easier. Honestly, and those that have released multiple songs will hopefully agree with me here. Song number one, super hard, really difficult to get done. Song number two, you're still finding some challenges. You're finding your feet. Song number 3, 4, 5, it just gets easier every time because you're learning, you're better, you got better skills, better experience, better confidence, and you know you can do it. You've done it before. Our brains are wired in such a way that the comfort zone factor of doing something for the first time makes it really hard. It's like scaling over a big giant wall. Once you've scaled that wall once and your brain knows it can be done, the second time it goes to do that, it's like, I got this. We're going to do this together. So that's the second thing. And the third, and this is the final point, is it helps share your art with the world. I believe in the phrase that art isn't art unless it's shared with someone. Now, you could argue that point. You could say some people like to create just for themselves. And hey, if that's what you're doing and that's what you want to do, absolutely more power to you. I think for 90 to 95% of us, we want to actually share our art and we want to share in other people's art. So it's very much a two-way thing. And again, the reason that I wanted to try to create these communities, I don't want to be all like grandiose or anything, but the reason I wanted to put videos out and do these sort of shows is I know that there are people that were feeling like me. I know that there are people out there right now that are like, I just don't have the confidence to do that. So having an environment like an online forum or a group of trusted people that you can share your music with, that really helps. And I'll put the same offer I put out about a month ago, which is if you have your first song and you want an objective opinion, email me, pete@studiolivetoday.com. I will at very least have 4 minutes to listen to your song and give you like 4 dot points about what I think about it and maybe some ideas, or at least just be able to say to you, this is cool. This is something that you need to share and get into the world. That is going to do it. But yes, I just wanted to cover on that because I get asked that a lot. And someone in the pre-show here even asked the same question. They're like, how do I get from that, I'm 90% done. How do I get 100% done and get it released? Well, the answer is you just get it done and then you just get it released. You live with the imperfections because there is no such thing as perfect, and then you move on.